Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. There's Rise to Win from the latest Ellefson-Soto release called Vacation in the Underworld. And with us today is one of our favorite vocalists, Jeff-Scott-Soto. Welcome back to the show, Jeff.
Thank you, guys. Good to be back. It's good to talk to you again. It's so nice to kind of feel normal again. You know, we're on the road, we're touring. It's like, wow. When you're locked down for so long, you realize you wonder, man, are we ever going to get back to normal again? And it's starting to feel good again.
That's awesome.
Nice.
You know, now, Jeff, when I first heard that you and David Ellefson were working on a project, I was wondering what direction the two of you would take on this release. Jerry and I are both fans of all the other projects that you do. We couldn't wait to hear what your collaboration would produce. And needless to say, we love it. But I want to know, how did this project come about? Was this just one of those, hey, we ought to work together one day kind of things, and then it all of a sudden it happened?
That's exactly it. You know, we didn't really set out to start a new project. I know David's got his hands full with many things that he was dealing with. Even before his departure from Megadeth, he's always working the same as I am. And the last thing we were both looking for was something new to consume our time, or to have to now find new windows of opportunity to make work. So it really was exactly what I was saying earlier in terms of the pandemic and being locked down. You found yourself creatively available all of a sudden. Of course, everybody was doing all those quarantine videos and all those kinds of things to kind of stay sane. You know, for me, working as hard as I did during the lockdown was therapeutic, more so than it was I needed to make a buck. You know, that music has always been my escape, and exactly that. So it just so happened that David called me up one day and he said, "Hey, man, just got this song. I'm writing songs with different people. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. And your name came up. Maybe would you be interested in singing on it? I'd throw you a couple $100." And I said, "Sure, man. Why not? Throw it in the mix of all the other stuff I was basically working on." I knocked it out literally in 20 minutes after he sent it. He loved it without even making any changes or any additions or whatever.
Nice.
And then another opportunity came up, and he asked me to sing another one. So I did the same thing, just a quick demo budget. And, you know, I don't normally sing for that cheap either. I gave him the total buddy deal. And it was the same result. He loved what I did with the song. He loved my personal interpretation as well as my own input. And then more songs just kept coming. I go, dude, you know what? Don't pay me for each one. We're on to something here. Let's just keep writing. Who knows where this is going to end up? Who knows if somebody else is going to cover these? But let's just keep writing because it's fun, and we're coming up with some great stuff. And lo and behold, before you knew it, we had something like 17 or 18 songs done.
Nice.
And now it was like, what are we going to do with this? And he started, well, maybe I can take it to this person, or this band might want to cover it. And it got to the point where he's like, dude, I'm living with this stuff so much, I think we should actually follow through with it and turn this into something. We got something here. It's exactly what happened. I mean,
nice.
I got to find a shorter version of that answer, but that's basically how it came together.
Nice. Now, there's some really cool stuff on the album, too, because get to hear David Ellefson play use some effects and stuff he definitely wouldn't use in Megadeth or anything like that. So it's kind of cool to hear him express himself that way. And but this guitar player you got is freaking fabulous, man. Where'd you get this guy?
Andy's a fantastic guitar player. The whole band is just so good. And again, it was just the guys that Ellefson was working with Andy in Italy. They worked on the Ellefson album. They have a bunch of other stuff they collaborate on. And it's exactly that. Their chemistry was already set. So my chemistry just kind of added to, and we kind of had a new science class, so to speak, when we started throwing these songs at each other. And for me, one of the things I really live for in this business, especially now at this point in my life, is not working with, kind of forcing working with people. There's so many situations where you could be put into a room with really talented people, but you find it as a struggle to try and find that unity, or to even try to find a sound that you all agree on. With these guys, they'll send me a song, and they trust and respect me so much that what I send them is usually 95% in the can. And if anything is, hey, can you add this? Or I kind of heard this when you did that. Maybe we should add that in, and that's it. They really just let me do my thing as much as I let them do their thing. And and it organically just works.
Nice.
That's awesome. Now, Jeff, I had read that this project or this album was really put together in 2021. Now, things weren't still, wide open at that time. How difficult was it to put this project together, not being able to be in the same room?
Well, yeah, we did, but the majority of it during the lockdown, during 2020. It was in 21 when we decided we wanted to actually get it out there and start looking at the album avenues of releasing it. But yeah, it wasn't so much difficult to find people interested in the record, and find interested in us. It was more the how long is it going to take before we get back out there? How long is it going to take before we can actually follow up and promote an album the way we're normally used to doing things? And that's what we didn't know. That was the only difficulty in how to navigate the timing. And so as far as we were concerned, it was better for us to wait. Let's release it in 22 when we feel things are going to be opened up enough that we can actually follow through with it. And it's exactly what we did, and it worked out great.
Nice. Now, Vacation in the Underworld has a bit of everything, It's got some head-banging, thrashing stuff, and it's got a nice, pretty ballad on there with just a piano and you, and is that something you guys were going for? A nice variety of stuff instead of just pounding the listener over the head?
Yeah, as songwriters, we definitely were going for variety and going for things that kind of made us click, the things that maybe we hadn't done with other groups. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here that absolutely wouldn't have worked for Megadeth. So yeah, and we are troubadours. As musicians, we're creators. We thrive on creating, and the result is basically the things that make us tick. We came up with something organically. We came up with something without thinking, with no context, with no real big picture at the end. We were just doing it for the love of the craft and the respect for one another. And it turned out to be something really good, to the point where we didn't want anybody else to cover these songs. We wanted to cover these songs, and that's how we turned it into a band. And that's the other thing. I know I'll use David's words in terms of how this thing came together. It's like he has such a respect for me in my past, and I have such a respect for him. And we made the kind of music that people would expect to sound like if David Ellefson and Jeff-Scott-Soto were in the same room together. That's the bottom line. It's giving people what they expect of me, giving people what they expect of him, and then some new twist in between. That's basically what it is.
Nice.
Now you guys played some live dates, right, with this project?
Yeah.
Now, how did they turn out, and are there plans for any more, Jeff?
They were great. We did them in Italy because David had some stuff already out there that he was going to be out there at the same time as I was out with Sons of Apollo. And so we decided, let's do a soft kind of release party kind of thing in the form of a few live shows. And because the majority, the band are basically based out of Italy, expense-wise, it made sense for us that we're already there. David and I were already there. We do the shows in Italy. We could rehearse there. We could do the shows there. It made it easier, more accessible. And so, yes, they were really cool, and we absolutely expect to do a lot more in the future.
Nice. Now, will there be a follow-up album or release more songs? Because you said you did like 17, 18 songs, so...
Yeah, I think those songs will have ended up, if not ended up as deluxe editions of this record. Mm-hmm. We're not going to use anything that was left over for anything new, but the answer to that is yes. The guys have already worked on pretty much an entire second album, basically a follow-up. I've yet to receive any songs to start working on, but I'm sure that's going to happen very soon because we want to strike while the iron's hot. The creativity is there, and let's just see what we can continue building on this project and this band.
Awesome.
Now, Jeff, when you go into a project like this, do you have a list of songs that you bring to the table, or do you start from scratch with each project that you get involved with?
For me, it's always from scratch. For me, every project, every band, every new idea, it's always based on somebody else giving me the music, and they give me the open canvas to start from. I don't sit and write songs as a hobby or as just randomly. Everything I write is for a purpose. I don't have songs just written, hey, I got this song, maybe we can throw this in. Every situation has to be, it's kind of like, I want to equate it to like Burger King, where it's made to order.
Nice.
So when something comes up, a situation, a brand new album, a new band, or a new collaboration, it's always based on what we're doing at the time as opposed to digging from the past. Maybe some of the music that's coming towards my way is something old that they're recycling and want to turn into something new. But on my end, since I'm just more of a lyricist and melody guy, everything's just fresh to order.
Nice. Now, can we find this on vinyl somewhere? Is this available on vinyl?
I know it was available limited vinyl. I don't know if we sold out of that, but
okay.
Yes, that's one of the things I love about Joe O'Brien over at Rat Pack Records. He's old school in terms of how he promotes, the ways they used to promote things back in the day, you know, where they had big bundles and VIP bundles where you'd get patches and stickers and all this cool merchandise stuff that used to be put into deluxe editions of albums. Joe still does that today, so there's even a bundle where you could get the album on vinyl and cassette.
Nice.
So it's really cool.
Nice.
I love the market. I think Joe's a great marketing strategist when it comes to what he's doing with Rat Pack Records, and I'm so proud to be a part of that organization now as well.
Awesome.
Now, Jeff, we talked off the air. We know you're out on the road currently with T.S.O, and I said I'm really fired up about seeing the show in Milwaukee. What are your plans for 2023? Are we going to see anything new from Sons of Apollo, or maybe another, solo album from you?
At the moment, I think it might be too soon to announce, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be. I'm sure people are expecting it. There's another project I do that every 2 or 3 years we make a new record, and we've got quite a fan base from it. Is a band called Wet. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be working on a new Wet album very soon, and a new solo album. I don't know if that's in the works for 2023. Sons of Apollo as well is on a bit of a hiatus because it is. Everybody's playing catch-up now. You know, we got Black Country Communion with Derek Sherinian's in. We got Winery Dogs that Billy and Mike are in. And Ron is just basically doing a lot of other things in terms of production and teaching and writing, et cetera. So 23 is going to be a quiet year, I think, for Sons of Apollo, and I'd love to hope that we're going to resume sometime in 23 for a 24 release. But my main focus for 23 is going to be a lot of appearances, as I said, playing catch-up with a lot of things that were canceled, a lot of things that couldn't be scheduled in 22 because the other things were basically in the way. I'm doing a lot more things with my partner, Jason Beeler from Saigon Kick. We did the Soto Beeler acoustic comedy cavalcade thing. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to be quite busy next year.
Nice. Now, through all the T.S.O. tours and years you've played with them, have you played with everybody that's in both bands? I mean, how did they choose East and West? Did they interchange every few years? Somebody's ship, or is there a draft? Is there like a draft at the beginning? Like a fantasy T.S.O. draft? I get Johnny Middleton.
No, it's not rocket science, but then again, it's a science that's worked out within the organization. They know what's best for what they're doing, and as far as I'm concerned, I've been with the West Coast production since I started in 2008. So I'm on my 15th tour right now, and I've never gone east.
Wow.
But yes, I have played with the other members on the East Coast version because we have done non-holiday oriented tours that were in the springtime and in other parts of the year that weren't the normal. We did the Beethoven's the Beethoven album. Mm-hmm. We did a show at the Bakken Festival in Germany. When we do those things, that's when they really mix up. That's when it's kind of like the T.S.O. All-Star Band, because in terms of they're taking a lot of the original members from Sabotage, all of them actually, and then they're picking and choosing particular members from the West Coast version and completing the band. So that's kind of like the dream team T.S.O. that when we get to do those kinds of things.
Nice. Now, with such a huge production with T.S.O., there's got to be some Spinal Tap moments that we didn't see in the first movie that you've experienced.
I'm not going to give you examples. All I'm going to say it's the old adage: the more stuff you have, the more stuff can go wrong. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Absolutely. There have been some comical moments and some kind of scary moments, but for the most part, they're mostly comical because we haven't had anything detrimental that's life threatening or is going to hurt anybody or scar anybody for life. But there have certainly been some some kind of funny moments of certain things that just didn't quite work out the way they were supposed to.
Nice. Now, the song on the new album, Jeff-Scott-Soto, the ballad, Out of the Blue, you think that song could have benefited from adding some cowbell? Yeah. While the piano's going, yeah, just having some cowbell.
Absolutely. I mean, and Loud and Proud in the mix as well.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that song, I kind of sang it verbatim to it was a demo. It was a very personal song that David wrote the lyrics to. He didn't know if it would ever be heard or even used. And he sang the original version of it. And I think it was supposed to be intended for him to sing and keep his vocal on. So when he sent it to me, just kind of give it a shot. I didn't really steer too far away from his original version. And when I listen back to it, I really feel like I wish I'd given it a little more of my own spin, because I always put a certain level of soul and emotion behind certain things when I kind of Jeff-eyes them. And I wish I Jeff-eyes this a little more. I hear it now, and it almost sounds like I'm doing the David Ellefson adaptation compared to doing the JSS adaptation.
Oh, okay.
I could understand that, yeah. Now, Jeff, where's the best place for our listeners to keep up with you on the socials?
Well, yeah, the social media, the .com thing is kind of, I think it's linked to all my socials. So I'm saying the socials are the best way, because then you get everything current as it's happening. It's all done by me personally. It's not like I got somebody hired to do my social medias. But yeah, it's only 3. I'm only on the 3 platforms, from Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if it doesn't have a blue badge next to it, it ain't me.
All right.
Cool.
Well, we always let our artists pick the song out of the interview. What would you like us to play today?
Like a Bullet is one of my favorites on the record, and I love doing it live, and I love listening to it.
Great
All
riff.
right.
Great riff.
All right. Well, Jeff, you're always welcome here on Rock and Metal Revival, and we want to wish you a happy holiday and travel safe, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. It was so nice to talk to you again, and thank you for the response, and thank you for listening to this record and sharing it with your listeners. And you know, this means the world to us. It's people like you. It gives us a reason to do what we do.
Outstanding. You know, Jeff, I am